Hello everybody, welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and our usual shout out to our patrons. We appreciate all the tips and support. We're hoping to be able to add some more games such as roulette eventually. And if you're curious about it, just go ahead and check the description down below. And for today's episode, it's another one requested by one of our viewers. And this is going to be going over just basic, I don't want to say etiquette, because this is a game. You're supposed to be having fun with it. This isn't some court that has all these rules and such like that. But just some basic pointers to the players to help keep the game flowing as smoothly as possible. I already covered it in another video where I discussed place bets and don't do these really oddball press moves that you may have figured out. Try and keep things relatively standard. That's why you see dealers that we will do anything below 60. We just do normal press moves, especially anything below 30. It's simple. It doesn't matter what we want to press to. But once we start hitting a certain point, 30 is going to go to 60 or it's going to go to 42. We're not going to take our 30 to 48. We're going to go from 30 to 42 to 60 to 90 to so on and so forth. Same thing, 5, 9, 4, 10. We're going to keep things simple. We don't go from 24 to 48 to 96 to 192. That's just it's just so oddball that it's going to slow the game down. We're more likely, 24 to, we might do 24 to 48, but from 48 we're likely going to go to 60. And then 60 to 90 or 120 or whatever it may be, but we're going to get it to standard simpler units to keep the game flowing. So I'm not really going to talk too much about the place bets as far as the press moves go. I'm going to talk a little bit about the order of payouts. Now we have a video about the order of payouts and what direction they go and who gets paid first, who gets paid last, so on and so forth. So all I'm going to say on the place bets is if you've got press moves and stuff like that, let the dealer know before they pay you. There's a lot of presses that there are specific moves for if we know in advance, so it makes it go faster. If you collect your money, then throw us money and say press the 6 and 8, you're slowing the dealer down for absolutely no reason. Before they start paying you, if you say, hey, press my 6 and 8, cool, we got it, we're going to do it just as fast as if we weren't doing any press. Because there's specific moves that speed it up. Don't collect your money and then go, oh yeah, here, press the, and then throw money and hey, press these. That's one, very frustrating to the dealer, and two, it's slowing them down and it's slowing down the other players' enjoyment of the game. Also, don't start shouting at the dealer, oh, press me, press me, press me, press me, press me, press me, or pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me. We will pay you in order. We will get to you in order. We have a specific order we do things, so don't start yelling, oh, I've got a hard this, I got a hard this, pay me, pay me, pay me, while we're still paying the place bets. There's an order to this. We will get to you in the proper order. There's an order and procedure that's for game protection, make sure everyone gets paid properly, make sure nothing gets forgotten, lost in the shuffle, things like that. We go in a specific order. It's okay if you're the last player and the number roll, say 9 rolls. It's okay if you're this player and you say, hey, press me up. But just say it once. Either we hear you and can remember that, or the dealer is unable to do that. I can generally remember when a player says, hey, press me up this scene. I'm not likely to reply because I'm concentrating too much on what else I'm doing and I don't want to break my chain of thought. But I might give you a thumbs up, or I might give you a nod, something along those lines. If I can reply, I will. But a lot of times I'm actually talking to the player whom I'm actually paying. But just say it once. Don't just keep blah, blah, press me, press me, press me, press me, press me, because we're trying to talk to the other player so that we can get their bets flowing smoothly. If we can, like I said, I'll generally remember. I'll hear you, give you a nod, something like that, and I'll generally remember. So when I get to you, hey, I'm pressing you. Okay, cool. If not, I'm going to get to you and say, hey, what'd you say, sir? And then we'll go from there. So just, wait your turn. Now, from a player's side, so if I'm a player over here and I want to, say, bet the inside, what I am not going to do is go, hey, give me a 5. So the dealer sets it up. Give me a 4. Or no, I'm sorry, I said the inside, didn't I? Give me a 9. Dealer sets that one up. Give me a 6 and 8. Dealer sets it up and, oh, fix my 6 and 8. That's called string betting, and that is irritating to the dealers, and it's also irritating to the players because you throw in, oh, give me a 5. Okay, cool. I start setting up your 5, and I start turning to the next player, getting ready to, starting to say, hey, what can I get for you? And then you're, oh, give me a 9. Okay, and meanwhile, I almost guarantee we've got something like this sitting in front of the other players that know how to bet properly, that I keep trying to turn to ask, hey, what's your bet? Hey, what are you looking for? But this person just keeps stringing their bets along versus, hey, let me get 22 inside. That's the way to bet it. Let me get 22 inside, or let me get 27 across. Throw it all in at once. Another thing that is a string bet that will slow the game down, because you have to remember there's other people with their bets. This player just wants a 6 and 8. This player wants 22 inside. They put their money down, and I'm getting ready to turn to them. You say, hey, let me get a 5. Okay, cool. I set up your 5. I start to turn to them, and then you go, oh, give me a 9. Okay. So I set up your 9. I go again to turn to this player saying, hey, what do you, oh, give me a 6 and an 8. Okay. Now, what's going to happen if you keep doing this is the dealers are going to start running you over, because they expect that a player, especially because we're going to educate you, like, hey, give me all your bets at the same time. Because at a certain point, you're going to throw it in. Now, let me get a 5, and the dealer's going to look at you and go, anything else? And if you don't reply, they're going to go, okay, a 5. They'll set it up, and then you go, oh, give me a 9. Now, at this point, the dealer has already educated you and has even given you an opportunity to bet properly. So after this, the dealers are going to start running you over. The other dealers are going to look, because they're going to give you time to place your bet. And if you placed it properly, you'd have plenty of time. Let me get 22 inside. Cool. If you try and string them along, we're going to, leave you to last. We're going to set up the other players. And then as soon as you throw in your first bet, give me a 5, the stick person's going to go, all bets are set, moving the dice. Because what you should have said was, give me 22 inside, and we could set it up and get moving. So the stick person's going to go, all bets are set, moving the dice. Oh, wait, give no bet. But I want a no bet, because the dice are already out. And we've given you all the opportunity, and we're not going to let you continue to slow the game down for the other players. That also applies for center action. Let me get a heart 10. Okay, we set it up. Let me get a heart 6. Okay, we set that up. Let me get a heart 8. Okay, we set that up. Let me get a heart 4. And the dealer's going to go, so all the hard ways, $5 each, which you could have just thrown in all at once to speed the game up, because you're not the only player. Usually when we see players that are like this, they're very selfish, and they, as far as they're concerned, they're the only player on the table, and the game is only for them. The dealer's going to do their best to educate the player, and at a certain point, we're going to stop trying to help that player, and we're going to start caring about the other players on the table. Because a player like this, that is string betting like that, is, I'd say 9 times out of 10, actually more than that, 19 times out of 20, a royal pain in the butt for the rest of the players and for the dealers for absolutely no benefit whatsoever. They're not going to, they don't make the game any better, they don't take care of the dealers, they don't help the players out, they have no etiquette. Another thing, late bets. Bet while the dice are in the middle. You want to bet while the dice are in the middle. If the stick person starts moving the dice, that's not when you go, oh, let me get a hard 10. Let me get a C and E. You do it once, the dealer's going to say, hey, do me a favor, get your bets in while they're, get your bets in earlier. Do it again, the dealer's going to say, hey, get your bets while the dice are in the middle. You do it again, the dealer's going to give you one more warning. After that, you're going to start getting no bets. You start throwing bets in, no bet, but no bet, but no bet. And especially if you argue. If you do it the first time and we say, hey, do me a favor, get your bets in a little bit earlier. Oh, but he hasn't thrown the dice yet. You start arguing with us, it's going to be a lot faster getting to the no bet. Because the thing is, once that dealer has moved the dice, they are not allowed to take their eyes off the dice. They must keep their eyes on the dice at all times. The dice are more important than the chips or anything else on the table. They are the most important thing on the table to the casino. So they cannot take their eyes off the chips, which means they cannot set up your bets. They can just leave your chips sitting there, and we have to remember it. Okay? Nothing looks more suspicious to the cameras than the dice rolling, and we set up the chip on what just rolled. So if you bet an 11, if you bet a yo, $5 yo, and it's a late bet, so we can't set it up, and a yo rolls, and we set up onto the yo and pay you, that looks very suspicious to the cameras. There have been crews that were in collusion with players in the past. Just Google it. You can read some very interesting stories about cheaters that were in collusion with dealers, which of course led to, in some cases, jail time. Definitely led to loss of jobs. So get your bets early so we can set them up. If if you do a late bet once, no big deal. We're just going to say, hey, do me a favor, get your bets in earlier. Actually, the first time I never say anything. Someone late bets, I book their bet. Now let me get a $5 yo. You got a $5 yo, that's a bet. But if very next dice roll, or 3 dice rolls later, you do it again, I'm going to say, hey, do me a favor, get the bets a little bit earlier, please. And then you do it again, I'll give you another warning, and then you're maybe 2 warnings away from just no bet. We're just going to no bet you, and if you keep doing it, we're going to start moving the dice faster and no betting you. And along with that, don't hold your bet while the dice are in the middle. We see you. We see the bet the chip in your hand. We know you're going to bet. And the dealer's asking, do you have any bets? Do you have any bets? And you just ignore them. Then as soon as the dice move, let me get a very likely to be a no bet. Possibly the very first time. If we've asked you if you had any bets, and you just ignored us and just deliberately waited until the dice moved. Along with that, with the etiquette towards other players. Players don't like it when there's money on the table while they are shooting. But if the dice have already moved and you throw money onto the table to buy in, we can't touch it. The dice are out. We have to wait until the dice roll. Right? So it's considered rude to buy in the middle of a roll. Most dealers will not consider that rude. It's certainly understandable. This is a game. You're more than welcome to play the game. If you buy in the middle of somebody's roll, try and do it while the dice are in the middle so the dealer can actually take your money, give you your chips, and you can pick them up. And you better make a bet. If you buy in while someone already has a point and you take your chips and you just wait until after their roll before you start playing, then honestly that's kind of a jerk move. There was absolutely no reason to buy in if you were not going to start playing. So if you buy in, play. If you're going to play, by all means buy in, but do it while the dice are in the middle. Right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with buying in the middle of someone's roll. Some players consider it rude because they figure that somebody buying in magically makes the dice somehow land on 7s. But in reality, there's nothing wrong, especially if you're going to play. You're more than welcome to play. That's why we're here. Just please have have the common courtesy to buy in and actually play. Along with that late bet thing, there's some people that seem to think that the proper time to bet the field is after the dice are out and the player is getting ready to shoot. Right? So the dice are coming this way, and you'll see the player leaning on the rail with the money in their hand, and they're watching the dice. And we'll tell them, hey, go ahead and make your bet. You got any bets? Make your bet, make your bet, make your bet. And they're just staring at the dice. Dice go out, the player gets it in the hand, and this player goes, like, somehow they seem to think that, again, by doing a late bet, it magically makes the dice roll their number, and it's extremely irritating to the other players. I will tell you, as a player myself, if I am playing and there's somebody's arm is in the table, I will actually aim for it. I will deliberately hit their arm or hand with the dice if I can, because I'm not superstitious to believe that suddenly creates a 7. What I'm hoping it does is it teaches them to keep their hands out of the table when I'm trying to shoot. But that is a huge faux pas. It's a very, very big etiquette thing. Keep your hands out of the table when the player is shooting. Huge etiquette thing. If you keep doing it too many times, the player is actually going to complain to the box, in which case, if it's a self-service betting area like the field, you're technically more than welcome to bet at just about any time before the dice land. But if you keep doing it and the other players complain, then the box is going to tell you to stop doing that, and we will no bet a field bet. That has been done in the past. Another etiquette thing that keeps the game flowing is, let's say a hard 4 just rolled. Hard 4 just rolled, so we're paying everything. Right? Wait until they're done paying. You can see the dealer paying, or what they're really doing is they're watching the side of the table. Let's say we're throwing the dice, so they're going that way. So the stick person is watching that side of the table. Once they've paid everything, then the stick is going to start paying the hard ways. Then they're going to turn around and pay the hard ways on the other side. Wait until they pay before you start throwing money in there. That is a huge, one, etiquette thing, and two, it's just kind of a pain in the butt. We're just going to ignore your bets until we have finished paying. Along with that, when you do make your bets, 2 things. One, if you have bets in a center action, throw them to that dealer. It's very irritating to the dealers when, let me get a hard 10. We'll book it. Hey, $10 hard 10, and we'll throw it over there. Next time, let me get a hard 6. Okay, do me a favor, throw it over to that player over there. I'm only in charge of these numbers. Let me get a hard 8. Some dealers will push it back. Say, go ahead and throw it to them. Because you got to remember, what we're doing, we're playing all these bets. We're dealing with all these bets, talking to the players, paying these bets, collecting, doing presses, all this. This is our responsibility. Those are the responsibility of that dealer. Throw it to them, right? But throw it to them in a reasonable fashion. I have seen this occur. Let's say we're in the middle of a really fantastic roll, so all the hardways are just getting pumped up, every single one of them, okay? And we have a player that goes, let me get a horn. The dealer's going to look at him and go, seriously, dude? Don't throw your bet right in the middle of all the other bets. Don't splash your bet into all the other bets. That is an absolute jerk move, and is going to very much irritate the dealers. If you have any bets in here, don't reach in. Always put your money out here in the come and let us know. Let us know what number you want, okay? But put it out here. Have a lot of players that seem to think it's okay to throw their money back here. This is basically the dealer's cash register. If you're paying at the store, do you throw your money straight into the till? Pretty sure you don't. Don't throw your money back here. At a certain point, the dealer is going to, either the dealer or the box is going to rectify that if they give you enough warnings. Right? Your money can also get lost back here. You throw it back here, and we're paying everything, and we just kind of fumble finger. Now we've got chips that we knocked over, and we're supposed to just trust that your chips were a certain bet. Okay, so don't throw your money back here. Out here in the come. Okay. Another one that is an etiquette thing that is something that I would just ask as a dealer. This is not a huge deal. It's not something that's going to make us mad or slow the game down or anything. This is just something that just me asking. And most dealers would very much prefer this. When you do throw your bets in, especially for the center action, try and aim your chips somewhere in this area or up here, unless there's side bets. But somewhere in this area up here, try and avoid these bets in here. But the one thing that I definitely ask you to avoid is throwing them against the wall. We have a lot of players that like to throw their bets against the wall. You have to remember that we are standing on the other side of that wall, and there's a lip that comes out. So I want you to think about standing somewhere and having to bend your arm back to grab the bets, having to lean out and bend your arm back to grab the bets. So I just want you to do this 6 or 7 times, push down on your elbow too, because there's a lip right there as you're reaching back. We'll do that 6 or 7 times a minute for an hour, and tell me how your arm feels and your shoulder. So I would just ask as a courtesy to the dealers. Again, it's not like we're not going to say, hey, stop doing that, anything like that. We're kind of used to it. It is what it is. But it starts to hurt after a while. So that's one that is not so much a courtesy to keep the game flowing. It's just an etiquette thing of, not an etiquette thing, just, hey, do me a favor, because that gets really rough on our elbows and shoulders after a while. We're leaning out into the table and then leaning back, pushing our arm back to reach these chips. It's tough on our shoulders and on our elbows. So please keep your bets in the middle. Same thing when you throw your bets over here. When you're throwing your bets back this way instead of putting them out here, same thing. We got to bend our arms. It's not fun. If you do buy in, once we hand you your chips, please pick them up. That slows the game down, because if your chips are out there, we're not going to move the dice. So if somebody's shooting, they're waiting on you to pick up your money. So don't throw money on the table, ask for chips, and then turn around and talk to your buddy. We see this all the time. If you throw money down to buy in, pick up your chips right away, then turn around and talk to your buddy. But please get your chips out of the way so we can keep the game going. Okay, the flow of the game is absolutely huge. I'm sure there's plenty more things that I could go over, but I try and keep these videos under a certain time limit. So I hope this is informative to brand new players. And if you guys have any suggestions, by all means, email us at sincitylivingLV@gmail.com, or if you have any strategies of your own that you would like us to review. Thank you guys very much for watching. My name is Jason. We will catch you guys next time.